Hello, welcome back to the Gamer Muscle YouTube channel and welcome to this delightful, exciting, highly arousing Dirt Rally 2.0 graphics setting guide. For those of you that want to play Dirt Rally 2.0, have it still look nice, but also have it run smooth. I'm going to go through the different graphics options, what they do, which give you more or less performance, and well, yes, it really is going to be that exciting. We've already on the screen here got the basic graphics settings there. I'm using a 1440p monitor, so that's why I've got my resolution set to 2560 by 1440. Though my monitor can go at 144 Hz, I'm using HDMI rather than DisplayPort, so it can only go to 100 Hz. But really, what you want to do is you want to set the game to the native resolution of your monitor normally, and you want to set it to the maximum refresh rate of your monitor. I'm sure you guys already know this, but I'm just saying it for those people that don't. You don't want Vsync on. That's on by default. Why? I don't know why, but you want to turn that off. I mean, hopefully you might have a G-Sync or a FreeSync monitor and have that set up, and you know, then that doesn't even matter. You're just using FreeSync or G-Sync, but you definitely don't want to be using Vsync. Multi-sampling, I've put to 8x MSAA. It's quite demanding multi-sampling, but it gets rid of those jaggies, and you really do need it if you want a nice clean and delightful image. So we've maxed out the multi-sampling, but that's a good thing if you're getting high frame rate drop. If you're not getting a high frame rate, you get frame rate drops. Multi-sampling is a good thing to start knocking down, but be warned, it does damage. Does damage the quality of the image. Anisotropic filtering, we put that 16 times. Just about everybody should always run at maximum anisotropic filtering because it doesn't have that much of an impact, and it just makes the textures look a bit better going into the distance. So generally you want to have 16x anisotropic filtering. TAA, I like to have on because if you turn it off in Dirt Rally 2.0, though you get a crisper image, you get a lot of aliasing, you get a lot of jaggies again. So TAA is on for me. Some people might want to turn that off. I don't know if it's that demanding, but personally, I have to have it on. Otherwise, the image is too shimmery for my liking. Now, that's the basic graphics settings. Let's go to the advanced graphics. This is the bread and butter. This is where it really all comes together. You want to make sure. You could use the basic custom presets initially and see if it runs smooth, and if it does, great. It didn't for me, but it might for you. Now, what I've moved down on here, we've got the shader detail we've got on high. This can affect frame rate a reasonable amount, so you might want to flick through this. Of course, the lower it is, the lower the quality. With my 1080 Ti, i7, high is perfectly fine here. Texture detail, pretty much everybody is going to want to run this on ultra, even if you're running on like a 970 or 960 graphics card. You're probably going to be able to put the texture detail on ultra or at least high. Textures aren't typically the most demanding of things. Modern graphics cards tend to do a good job of high resolution textures. Might change if you're running in 4K. But if you're running at 1080p or 1440p, you could probably put texture details on ultra and be all right. Reflections, my God, guys, the reflections in Dirt Rally 2.0 look amazing, even on medium. So just put them on medium. I've had them on medium. We've done 8 hours of driving with it on medium. I've been aroused by the reflections, even on medium. Reflections can be quite demanding if you are getting big frame rate drops and stutter or just a general low frame rate. Reflections are a good thing to compromise on because, you know, when you're driving through hedges at 130 miles an hour, are reflections really the most important thing? Some people might think so, but I don't. So reflections are a good thing to kill. I've got them on medium and they look awesome, so that's good enough for me. Screen space reflections, I've got them on. Game seems to run fine. You might, again, this might be something you want to turn down and compromise on. Shadows, my God, are shadows hungry when it comes to eating up your graphics and your processor performance? I've put them down to medium. Again, the game looks pretty nice with them on medium. I'm getting a good frame rate with this on medium. You might want to turn this down if you're getting frame rate issues or if you want a high frame rate. Shadows are one of the first things to start reducing if you want good performance. I might try it higher at a later date, but with how I've got these settings on, with the 1080 Ti i7, I'm sort of around about the 80, 90 to mostly about 100 average frame rate, with it dropping to 80 at the minimum, and it's kind of on average been 90, 100. So for me, I've gone with it on medium, but you might want to drop that. Night lighting I've got on high. Not had any problems with frame rate drops or anything with it on that. You might want to turn this down again. I don't think it has a massive impact on frame rate from when we've been fiddling with it, so you know, I've kept it on high. Ambient occlusion, that's ambient occlusion is the sort of the kind of diffuse shadows you get on the edges of things, where two edges meet together. You end up with like a, there you go, you can see there's like a dark line between my two hands where they come together there. That's the ambient occlusion. There's no global illumination coming through that, or a limited amount. So ambient occlusion is a nice thing to have on, but it might be something you want to compromise on because it's not the most noticeable of lighting or shadows. I've got it on medium. Again, game looks fantastic with it on medium. We've got advanced ambient occlusion. I've got it turned off. I've not really done some side-by-side testing to really notice the difference. Again, game looks fine with it off, so I'm happy with that. Particles, I've got my medium. They look perfectly fine. Particles can be quite demanding when you whack them up, especially if you're doing the rallycross. So if you're noticing you're getting frame rate drops when you're doing rallycross and you're going from tarmac to dirt and you've got cars in front of you, I mean, really, you should be in front of the other cars. So you should just see the dirt in your mirror. But if you're slow like me and you've got lots of cars in front of you and they're all kicking up dust, you might want to turn the particles down if you're then getting frame rate drops there. I'm happy with them on medium. They look great on medium. So there you go. Medium is fine in my mind. It's not like some other games where when you turn the particles down, they look absolutely horrendous, or you don't get any at all. In this on medium, they look good. I guess maybe you could get an advantage turning the particles off. I don't know if you could use that to get a bit of extra visibility. Might have to try that, but medium is what I've gone with. Advanced blending I've got off. I'm not quite sure what that means. I think it might be for some of the particle edges and things, and I don't know how much effect that would have on the game's performance, but I'm happy with it off. Weather we've got on high. Dirt Rally has loads of different weather effects in it. You've got rain, you've got day, you've got the intermediary, you've got all the different goings going on with the environment and the different textures with the wet rocks and everything. It might have a moderate impact on performance having that on high. I quite enjoy it on high. So I mean, it's all about the grass and weather for me. With me being English, if the weather's not good, what's the point? You know, I'm not playing this to drive cars fast. I'm playing this to enjoy the rain, the simulation of rainy English life. Might be one to turn down if you get performance issues. Crowd. Now this is in Dirt Rally, and it's not as bad in this as it was in Dirt Rally, but crowd can have a big impact on big frame rate changes. So if you're driving the Poland, I believe it is, the Polish stages, you come into areas where there's a whole load of crowd. It's kind of like a crowd area on a rally stage, and that is massively more demanding than your generic countryside parts of the rally stage. So you then get a big frame hit. So if you're already close to that sort of 60, 70 FPS, assuming you're playing on a 60 Hz monitor, you're then going to dip below. You'll be like, oh, it's fine. Oh, now the crowded area where I need to be really precise, frame rate drops. So personally, I drop the crowd down. If I'm being realistic, I should probably put the crowd to off, because no one would actually turn up in real life to watch me drive a rally car. But I like to pretend that I'm Robert Kubica, Sebastian Loeb. You know, I like to pretend Richard Burns, Colin McRae. Those are the dreams that I've got in my head. So medium. I mean, if it was Colin McRae or Richard Burns, it'd be ultra. But I'm still compromising. Crowds on medium seems to be good for me, and it seems to keep a consistent frame rate. Cloth is important, because if you don't put cloth on, your co-driver doesn't wear a loincloth, and you might accidentally peek a view of his little todger, and you don't want to do that, because your co-driver will get angry, and he's supposed to be telling you the pace notes. You're not supposed to be looking at his genitalia. Really, what the cloth is for anything that's cloth-like in the game. The tape at the side of the tracks when you drive into that, the flags and things. I assume that's what the cloth is for. It's what it normally is. Personally, I just put it on low. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Normally, the top with stuff like cloth, it's normally CPU dependent. So if you've got a slower CPU, turning the cloth down might be a good idea. But having it on low, means that there's a little bit of cloth stuff going on rather than not having it at all. I don't know if that actually removes flags and everything if you put it to off. I've not tested that, but I'm happy with it on low. Mirrors? Who needs mirrors in a rally car? Well, you don't for the rally car. They're probably going to fall off after you've driven into a tree. But the mirrors are handy in rallycross, so you can see all the cars behind you after you've charged ahead and you've destroyed them. So I highly recommend putting the mirrors on medium, and that's what I've gone for. But again, if you're getting frame rate performance issues, mirrors are a good one to drop down because that can be quite a demanding setting on the higher settings, because it's having to render stuff that's behind you and in front of you. If you're turning it down or off, then there's a lot less for your game to have to do, or your computer to have to process. Vehicle details, we've got to have them on Ultra because the cars in Dirt Rally 2.0 look absolutely gorgeous. You want to see all your cockpit stuff, you want to see the other vehicles that are there, you want to enjoy them. Again, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You turn these settings down if you've got a slow computer. But as I was sort of saying with this, what I like to do is turn down settings that don't visibly look that noticeable when you reduce them. The ones that have a big bang for buck in terms of performance, but don't damage the actual imagery too much. Vehicle details, you're probably only really going to need to turn down in the rallycross if you're getting slowed down. On the normal rally stages, vehicle details you can probably keep on pretty high without it having too much of an effect on your actual performance. Track details, I've got it on high as opposed to ultra. This can have a big impact, but the more you turn that down, the more pop-up you'll notice and the less detailed the circuits look. And, the stages. Stages, not circuits. And we're here for rally driving, so it's all about the stages. It's all about the grass. It's all about the trees. I put it on high. It looks nice. It looks high. It looks nice on high. The little, you get better sort of definition for the actual road details and things. You got to have it on high. I would try not to compromise track detail personally. Objects and trees, trees are technically an object, Codemasters. I'm just saying. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. The object tree debate continues into 2019. This is another one like the spectators, the crowds, in that if you're getting intermittent big drops in frame rate, then turning these down is a good idea, because you'll get to areas in games where there's suddenly a lot more objects because it's just a more densely packed area. Or you might be playing something where there's a lot of trees. So turning objects down especially could be a good way to make sure you've got a more smooth frame rate and keep you above that frame rate threshold that you're trying to get to. I mean, with the trees, because it's rally and there's trees everywhere because it's rally, you kind of want them on the highest setting, because that's what you're going to be seeing a lot of. I don't think you really need it on ultra. On the high setting, they look bloody good. The main thing you notice jumping from ultra to high is more the quality of the trees and the distance between the quality of the trees and when the quality drops down. I think once you go down to ultra low, it starts looking really bad because you're just getting the very low quality trees. But medium and high actually look pretty good, so compromising to medium is a good idea, I think. But on my system, high's been nice. Ground cover. This, again, back with Dirt Rally, the ground cover was something that affected the VR and intermittent performance. Again, if you're getting random sort of drops, ground cover, object, crowd, these are things that are nice to reduce for minimal overall visual damage. I've got it on medium. That works well for me. Skid marks. These are handy in the rallycross because it lets you better see where breakpoints are. I'm not sure if the skid marks show up on the actual on the rally stages too much. I'm not noticing too much on the tarmac stages. But yeah, skid marks are really handy for you to notice where breakpoints are and help you learn better places to brake. When you're in multiplayer, seeing where people would brake and where the skid marks are, or seeing where AI is, or seeing where your skid marks are from the last time when you broke too late and just drove into a straight line into the barrier. Skid marks are quite handy. I like skid marks. I'd recommend trying to keep them on if you can. Motion blur. Bloody hell. Why? No. No. Turn motion blur off, guys. You don't want motion blur. It's on by default. What you thinking, Codemasters? You don't need motion blur. It's horrendous. I don't know what that's about. It's like driving with a concussion. Just turn that off. You don't want any motion blur. God rays, you know, I mean, these things here aren't necessary for performance. This is more like a subjective visual thing. You might like to feel Jesus upon you as you're driving through a rally stage. It might make you feel more comfortable keeping your foot on the throttle. So God rays might be a good idea to keep on. But I personally find them a little bit of an irritation. Generally, when I'm, you know, if you're driving and you're looking in real life through your eyes, generally speaking, unless there's like a forest fire and a lot of smoke, generally, it's not like a J.J. Abrams Star Trek film. You know, you don't really get too many God rays in real life. It's more of like a camera effect. So I turned it off. Chromatic Aberration, for those that don't know, is like fringing at the edge of stuff. It's like that sort of blue, green. It's chromatic aberration. It's an aberration of chromatices. I made that up, but well, it's a bit hard to explain the technical reason for it. With lenses, light travels at different speeds, gets bent around, and then you end up with all the different colour fringing and stuff. If you do photography, you'll know this already. But why would you have it on? You want your screen to be kind of like you're looking at things through your eyes, not like a camera. Why make the image worse? We're trying to immerse ourselves here, so turn that off. Woo! Bloom. It's like a, you know, light sort of... well, it's bloom. It's like a diffuse lighting off things. Again, these things don't affect performance too much. Bloom might be nice on the night stages, but generally, unless you've got like something wrong with your cataracts, your eyes, or you've got wet eyes, you shouldn't really be seeing bloom on things. Maybe if you're looking through the windshield, it's a bit dirty. You might see a bit of bloom off stuff in a real car. But yeah, no, not for me. Turn that off. Lens flares. Sorry, that's the J.J. Abrams settings. Oh, God. No, turn it off. Light streaks. Again, have we suffered a concussion, or are we a finely tuned Robert Kubica, Sebastian Loeb? You know, are we a trained rally driver getting immersed in rally driving? That's what we're going for. No light streaks. Sorry, off. Lens dust. Again, are we playing Battlefield, Call of Duty? Have we actually cleaned our screen? Are we looking through eyes or lenses? I like to think that we're looking through eyes. Turn that off. Little bit of a rant there, guys. Sorry about that. But hopefully that goes through all the main settings there. As I say, the biggest ones to turn down, if you're the first things to turn down if your performance is bad, and you don't want to impact the visual too much. Turn down the shadows, turn down the ambient occlusion, turn down the crowds, turn down the weather a little bit, turn down the mirrors, turn down the objects, turn down the trees. Those are the first things to go for, and maybe keep TAA on and reduce the multi-sampling. If you just want to get best bang for buck visual quality, high frame rate without damaging the image so much. Also, you might have noticed here, I'm running this in windowed mode. You really want to be running in full screen. Borderless window is an option in this. Sometimes I find it runs faster if you just run normal full screen. It shouldn't make too much difference on Windows 10, but it does in some cases. So make sure you're running in full screen, ideally. Brightness here, you can just set the brightness of your screen. I have noticed, and this might be because I'm using the press copy of the game at the moment, it's not the brightness doesn't feel off with the game, but you'll notice in some of the darker stages, it's almost as if I don't think of the correct word here. Not the brightness. It's not even the contrast. It's the gamma. That's what I'm trying to think of. It just feels a bit off. The sort of balance of the lighting feels a bit off on some stages. It's very stage specific. It looks fantastic in the day, but you'll notice on New Zealand on the very overcast days and some of the night stages, the brightening just seems a bit off. I think they might patch that out or improve it into the future. You might want to tweak the brightness though for now if they haven't. I've moved it up to 1.20. And of course, remember you've got your actual monitor settings you can tweak as well. And I think this game has HDR support. So if you've got a HDR monitor, that's a nice thing to set up. But you have to set that in Windows. Wow! I think we're done there, guys. That was an exciting and highly arousing video. Hopefully that's gone over the graphics settings for you guys. For just getting, as I say, getting the best bang for buck performance. I don't know what else to say, really. I hope this helps someone. I know this video is not the most exciting. I always get asked to make these videos with new games that come out. So if it helps someone, that's good. If it did help you, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop any comments, any questions about graphic settings or any specific things that you have found out that you'd like other people to know in the comment section. And when people type in Dirt Rally 2 graphics help, they will actually see your stuff in the comments, and it'll help everyone out. And that's really handy to make it easier to get into the games. And I have to say, I'm really enjoying Dirt Rally 2.0. I think they've done a good job with it. It's a nice successor to Dirt Rally, the first one. We won't talk about Dirt 4. It was okay as a game, but oh my god, it wasn't Dirt Rally good. So, yes, there we go, guys. As I say, subscribe, like, all that lark, drop a comment, and I will see you guys in our next live stream. Till the next one, goodbye, everybody.